Struggle! Welcome to Cooking Videos with Dave, number 115. Today, the two name videos are Mongolian Meatloaf and Pepperoni Pizza, but we got a lot of shit in between. Let's just start everything off. I don't care. No need to come on in, just blah, 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 blah.
And it's 40% off almost everything site-wide. You want a Nikiri knife? 40% off. You want an 8-inch offset bread knife? 40% off. You want the carving set? 40% off. Just don't dawdle because you never know when we're going to stop it. You know how Pop-Tarts are supposed to be sweet and cute and all breakfasty? Well, forget that, because today we're taking the idea of a Pop-Tart and going full savory and stuffing them with things they probably shouldn't be stuffed with. A meatball parm, beef stroganoff, and even a New York classic, the bacon, egg, and cheese. This all started because on my Instagram, I did 30 days of 3-ingredient recipes. And the last one that ended all of it was a lobster mac and cheese Pop-Tart. 3 ingredients. I bought a package of ready mac that you just add water to, this white cheddar. And then I cooked some lobster. And I stuffed that inside of puff pastry. And it was fucking heavenly. So that gave me the idea, or gave Max the idea, why don't we just do 3 different ones of those? So that's what we're doing. Plan is, I'll make all the fillings, let them cool, then we'll stuff them at the same time, seal them at the same time, bake them at the same time. So then they come out, then it's even Steven. What am I even trying to say? Then they all come out of the oven warm and hot and beautiful and puffy at the same time, and then we eat them. All right, let's start with the meatball. All right, you see this? This is marinara. Look, I don't care if you buy it from the store or make your own. Yes, I do. I lied. I want you to make your own. There's a great recipe. I'll link below. But what I'm going to say about the marinara is going to hold true for everything. You don't want watery insides going into your puff pastry. That's death. While this marinara is perfect for, you know, a sauce on pasta or whatever, we need it a little thicker here. So I'm just going to let the heat do its thing, simmer away, and it will thicken over the next few minutes. And then I'll show you what step 2, 3, and 4 are. All right, see what's gone on here? It's gotten much thicker. That's what we want. All right, let's add a few things. First will be some meatballs that I've chopped up. You can't put a full well, I guess you could. I was gonna say you can't put a full meatball in this thing.
You can't put a full meatball.
But this will make it easier for people to eat. Mix, kill the heat, and add the following. A little handful of shredded mozzarella, some fresh parm. This is gonna give it that beautiful, cheesy, gorgeous bite. Don't be cheap here, man. We don't need salt. There's lots of cheese and that's inherently salty. We could put black pepper in, but I'm going for red pepper flakes. And we mix. There's your thickness. Take it off the heat, let it cool, move on to number 2, beef stroganoff. This guy begins with a warm pan, a little splotch of oil, and some thinly sliced ribeye. I will now use my severely yellowed spatula. I don't want to talk about it. You can ask Max. Let's put it this way. If he was little, he'd get spanked. Little salt and pepper, and it's so thin, this will not take long in this pan. Like, I'm almost there. There's a touch of pink left. You're okay, let's take it out. Back on the heat, we add some butter and some sliced cremini mushrooms.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm not cosplaying with the damn robes. I just like the way they looked.
These get a couple minutes till they just start
They're also
to brown.
not robes.
Just. All right, we have a little color. We can add some onion and a touch more butter. And this is gonna get 30, 45 seconds.
Also, I have no interest in cosplaying.
Soften a hair. And when they do, we give it a little flour, mix it in till it's like sand. And then some beef broth. Stir away, a little Worcestershire, and a little Dijon mustard, and mix. And this we want to get nice and thick. Let it simmer for a minute or so. And when it's nicely thickened like that, kill the heat and stir in 2 things. 1, sour cream. Super traditional for stroganoff. And 2, also traditional, some fresh chopped dill. If you had dry dill, my heart breaks on this because dill is really important here. And if you didn't have fresh dill and you only had dried, would it be okay? I guess I'm just not a fan of dried dill. Tastes like, I don't know, something else. And last but not least, of course, we're missing something, and that would be the beef. Where's the beef? Let us know in the comments if you're old enough to know that commercial from way back in the day. Where's the beef? Beautiful.
I don't remember the commercial, at least not actually watching it as a child, but yeah, I get the reference.
This guy will cool just like the meatball, and we move on to the bacon, egg, and cheese. And this begins with bacon. Let this get almost crispy. Perfect where I want the bacon. We take out some of the grease, not all.
I have
it's
to
egg
cook,
time.
but I don't know.
Like that.
Left 60,
Couple
40.
beaten eggs, little salt and pepper, and in they go. I've turned it down to low. I don't want these to burn up right away. I want them to stay soft.
If not, there
and
definitely will
creamy
be an LOP
and
stream
not quite
tomorrow.
cooked all the way perfectly because they're going to finish in the oven. Like I'm about 30 seconds away from pulling these guys. All right, these guys will cool too. We get some puff pastry and we'll build. There's your puff pastry. You can buy it frozen or you can buy it in the refrigerator section. I'm going for the refrigerator section. It's much easier. But before you take it out, we need a little flour on the deck because they'll stick. There you go. Now you can open it. But whatever one you get, you don't want to take it out of the freezer or out of the fridge too early because, well, they start to get gummy. Okay, so here's the plan. I've determined that these will be 4 inches by 5 inches. Let's see how many we can get here. 4, 12, great. So if I do this, I set this guy right, oh, they're almost 15 inches. 4 by 5, 4 inches wide. Okay, so I go like this. 4, 8, 12. Basically the same thing down here. 4, 8, 12. And you would just be cutting these guys in half. This is perfect. And do I need to be this anal? Probably not. Do I want to be? Yes, I do. Now the halfway mark. Let's make savory Pop-Tarts. Let's go in the order we made them. So first up, meatball. You got to stay away from the edges, folks. You know that, right? Because we have to crimp these things. And if you've got stuff at the edges, they won't crimp. They'll open up and there'll be a mess. There'll be a delicious mess, but there'll still be a mess. Okay, I'm good with that guy. Let's put a little more cheese on top. And you can give it just a little gentle stretch in both directions because it's got to go over this big fat pile of meatball parm. Press down gently with your fingers. Now we fork the edges. And now you take a knife and you clean up your edges. Like that. You pick the guy up as gently as you can. Put it on a parchment paper lined baking sheet and move on to the stroganoff.
How the fuck is he gonna cook these?
Here we go. Stroganoff looks like this.
All right, I don't
wow,
care.
is this
blah,
one
blah,
going to
blah.
be near the edge? That'd be amazing by the end. Fork you. Yeah, I know, this kid's a little shorter. It's all right, it's all right. Now, let's do this. Everybody gets a little brushing
So he's gonna
of
basically
beaten egg
bake it.
to make them shiny, glossy,
Why wouldn't you deep
golden
fry
brown.
it?
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. A couple holes in here. Do. But the bacon, egg, and cheese, get some everything bagel seasoning. My oven's at 400 degrees. These guys are going in for 18 to 23 and a half minutes, or until they look beautiful. Time's up and look. Oh, ho, holy snap. Well, we got a leaker. It's okay. It's okay. Just let me take these guys off and put them on the deck. I'm feeling really good about them, but look how gorgeous they are. Mamma mia. I better put them in order that I made them or I forget. And the bacon, egg, and cheese. Damn it. All right, we got to have a bite. Let's go in order, shall we? And by the way, look at, oh, they're all around beautiful. Okay, guess I'm taking a bite. I said to Max, I'm just going to cut him. He goes, you don't cut a Pop-Tart. Cut a Pop-Tart and you get your nuts cut off. Flaky, it's going to be messy. Oh my God, my eyes are shut. I'm eating a crispy meatball parm, like the best one ever. Hold on, let me show you this. Can you see that?
All right, maybe I'll have to steal this recipe.
God. Beef stroganoff. This is my leaker, but I'm okay with it. Oh, love. Dear Kellogg's, I have a new line for you. In the freezer section, Sam the Cooking Guy, savory Pop-Tarts. That's an actually good idea. I don't know if you can get a sense here. The mushrooms, the onions, the beef, the whole, oh shit, it's dripping on me. Oh, God, that's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Okay, number 2. Number 3, last but not least, the bacon, egg, and cheese. Like a New Yorker. Hey, give me a fucking bacon, egg, and cheese, will you? Will yous? I sound like my brother-in-law, Brian. Hey. God, it is ridiculously glorious.
All right. I'm done watching him suck himself off. All right, this one intrigued me too. Amazing double cheeseburger. Aldi Elite double cheeseburger. Are you talking about Aldi, the grocery store chain?
Because I'm going to be cooking up the Aldi Elite double cheeseburger. Let's get going.
Well, I noticed you have a grinder there, so that's kind of freaking me out.
So this video is literally the result of my shopping at Aldi and trying to draw some inspiration from the ingredients. I didn't want to do a copycat on this video. I wanted to do something that I came up with. So I went to Aldi, walked the aisles, saw some ingredients, got some inspiration. The result is what you're going to see today. With the exception, everything I'm using in this video, I bought at Aldi's. With the exception of the mayo, this is going to sound like who cares to a lot of people, but so I've been doing, videos counting ballistic barbecue for a lot of years, and the mayo we have out here in California is Best Foods, which is Hellman's. It's the same company, just a different name on the label.
Yeah, one.
And I'm always hearing Duke's. Duke's is the best. They have Duke's now here in Southern California, so I'm stoked about that. This is going to be my first time having Duke's. So anyway, it's going to be a
It's good shit.
part of this video, but everything else is from Aldi.
I don't know where I'd rank it. Because I also hear the other people, normally these are Japanese Wagyu fucking waifu anime dipshits that think that Japanese QP mayo is the best. I haven't tried it because I don't care. It's still never going to beat homemade mayo.
We're going to kick it off with a grind. And this is a very nice ribeye steak that I found at Aldi. Very well marbled, and I would definitely grill this up and eat it as a steak. But
right now, Duke's is probably my favorite, followed by Hellman's. The only mayos I don't like is either the store brand, just because it's kind of tasteless, and I'm not the biggest fan of Kraft. But if Kraft's on sale and nothing else is, hell, I'll buy Kraft.
I wanted to make this is going to be like a kind of a gourmet, a little bit of a bougie burger, but very, very simple. I mean, it's going to be a very approachable, you'll see. It's going to be, I always use the words,
Now, the best mayo is homemade mayonnaise, but there's a problem with it. Whereas mayonnaise you buy off the shelf in the grocery store will keep for several months. You have about 2 days with homemade mayo because of the raw egg in it.
Simple yet elevated. That's what this is going to be. I never mentioned this I don't think on Ballistic Burgers, but I actually did a video back before I had this channel on Ballistic Barbecue on basically burger basics, making
Oh my God, I forgot he had Ballistic Barbecue.
burgers. And one of the things that I wanted to mention on this video is when you're grinding, it's very important to keep everything cold. So this meat is...
Dude, no. Mayo has about 2-3 days. You have a fucking raw egg in it.
right out of the fridge, cold, and components of your grinder. For this video, I threw this whole assembly piece here, which is...
And you know what? If you like Miracle Whip, have fucking Miracle Whip. Now I'm going to get hate. I don't mind Miracle Whip with certain things, but it's just the tangy, weird taste they put in that just gets a little annoying at times.
You know, the tube or whatever you want to call it, with the grinding plate.
Again, I am Cell Safe certified, or at least I was. I'm sure my certification is gone.
The blade and the auger, all that went into the freezer. So this is very cold.
Well, whatever. You'll never believe me, Iron Gullet, because you're just a little weirdo that has to hang on to the cackles of the corn god.
The reason is, you know, you're generating friction inside this grinder as it's working, and you can actually start melting the
if
fat.
I do a LOB
honestly,
stream, I'm just going to burst your fucking bubbles now. I'm not going to open up the fucking lines.
This is really cold. I'm only grinding one steak, so it wouldn't have a problem with it on this video, with this grind. But it's a good practice to, you know...
Culvers might have their own mayo blend. I mean, I know for a fact McDonald's has their own mayo blend. Burger King, I'm pretty sure, does too.
In the habit, if you're going to be doing grinding, get everything really, really cold. So I have it all loaded up with meat. I'm using the smaller grind plate. All right. I'm going to clear out the rest of the meat in this grinder here. Then what I'm going to do is portion it out to where I have 2 equal amounts, and those are going to be the patties. I'll tell you how much they weigh once I get it portioned out. And here's what I ended up with, 2 gorgeous patties, 5 ounces each, and you can see the fat content. This is ground ribeye. It's going to taste amazing. And I was thinking about it. I paid $20 for this.
Again, I don't know why people feel the need to turn ribeyes into ground beef. I mean, okay, I've done it before. It just feels like such a waste when if you work with like a chuck roast, which is much cheaper, it feels it's 90% of that. And with a little TLC, it can be 100%.
Steak, so the meat in this burger is $20. But if you went to a nice high-end restaurant and got a burger similar to what I'm doing for you today, it's going to be probably chuck, and it's going to be over $20.
And I'm sorry, but I've made burgers with damn near everything imaginable except filet mignon. Many combinations. And for me, the Butcher's 80-20 chuck blend is pretty good.
These are going to go into the refrigerator, and now we're going to make a really simple, really elevated burger sauce. I have here about a half a cup of that Duke's mayo. I'm really not going to be measuring here, so for those of you who want precise measurements, I apologize. I'm just sort of riffing, just adding ingredients. So to this mayo, I'm going to add a little bit of lemon juice.
Oh, I didn't iron gullet. Oh, okay. Right. I didn't do that. Oh. Gee, I only did it 10 fucking years ago. Here we go. This is from my show. I'll skip over my thing. Okie dokie, we had our moment of silence because I have to do this. I have to carve up this beautiful ribeye steak for ribeye burgers. This has been a long-standing debate on Dave's Cooking Show almost since I've started this, going even into War Corps. Yeah. So, yeah, I carved it up. And it did present a pretty good product. But nothing that I would spend the money for a ribeye. Okay? Nothing that I would spend the money to get ribeye meat to make burgers.
A little bit of lime juice. Some capers. Some diced pimento peppers, a little fresh chive, a little bit of paprika, some freshly ground black pepper. Get this mixed up with my plastic spoon. It's a very small little bowl here. You can really elevate a mayo just by adding a few simple ingredients. Check this out. This is really good. Here's what it looks like. Digging on this. Griddle's all preheated. Let's cook a, what did I call it again? An Aldi.
There's no way I'm gonna sacrifice a ribeye just to make a burger. If I'm gonna cook a ribeye, I'll cook a fucking ribeye steak.
Elite double cheeseburger. Medium high, medium. First thing I want to do is lay down a little bit of oil, and check this out. Got this on Amazon.
For steaks and the like, no, it's not. For burger meat, yeah, I'd agree with you.
This is Wagyu beef tallow in a spray bottle, and the only ingredient is rendered beef fat. So this is a dream come true right here. So on this side, on the medium side, lay down some prosciutto. I'm gonna kind of crisp up some prosciutto here. This is going to be.
God, that's something I wish would. That's a fad I wish would come to an end. I'm gonna lay down some prosciutto here, the most pretentious bacon in the planet.
Like my elevated bacon, so to speak. Seeded brioche.
No, Black Angus is not made up. But again, it's unless you're dealing with steaks, it's like Wagyu ground beef. It's pointless. There's no difference.
Right on there. These two patties. Salt, pepper.
Dude, I think that shit's done. Whatever, it's your prosciutto.
So you can see it's getting a little wet looking on top. That means the steam is seeping through. We can flip these burgers now. Oh my gosh, look at that. Okay, this is a 4-year aged sharp cheddar that I grated in the house. And I like to grate these type of cheese. They melt better. And this is a
Yeah, because pre-grated shit melts weird.
goat cheese or goat milk white cheddar, which I've never had. And on that, I'm putting some really.
Actually, no. You ever heard of top sirloin?
Thinly sliced.
Iron Gullet, you can keep talking all you fucking like. But we all know you're full of shit. Your fat ginger ass has nothing to do with food.
Dried figs. I bought these at Aldi. These are nice.
Or tell you what, give me the classifications, because I do know them. Give me the classifications of U.S. Of grades of meat. Like, what's higher, choice or prime? But please, if you do know what you're talking about, please give me the rundown.
They're soft, they're good. It's going to be great topping on this burger. Little balsamic vinegar glaze. Little water. A lot of water.
Great, so you know what the ugly food movement is, right? You do know that. I'll give you a chance. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and you can look up the answers, because I don't believe you for a second, Doughboy. All right.
The prosciutto down.
Well, there's more than just prime, choice, and select. Again, you're leaving out Angus, Black Angus, Wagyu, USA Wagyu. Also, they're certified. So, yeah. You don't know what you're talking about.
This looks really freaking good, guys.
Also, of these 5, which ones come packed in ice? Broccoli, cilantro, parsley, leeks, Napa cabbage.
Patties down on that toasted bun. So on top of this burger, putting down some very thinly chopped or sliced shallot.
Also, what is the problem with potatoes that have green skin? They're not stinking yet, but what's the problem?
Just wanted that crunch and a little bit of a bite.
Angus and Angus Black are certified USDA grades of beef. So is American Wagyu. Now, the Japanese one, that's another matter. It's a fungus? What the fuck are you talking about? Well, you said you're cell-safe certified. So you should know these answers to these questions. Okay, here's another one. Why do you never store grapes next to strawberries? Why is it that if you're working with bananas, you want to open up the cases as soon as possible?
On that top bun.
No, there's another reason, Iron Gullet. Oh, the potatoes, it's a fungus? Nope. Nope. You're wrong. And you claim you're cell-safe certified. What a fucking idiot.
That killer, that sauce.
And again, you should know this if you're working in restaurants. Well, I've already proved him wrong about the cuts of meat. I proved him wrong about the potato thing. He hasn't answered what vegetables are stored in ice. So literally, he has literally not answered a single one of my questions.
And crown this gorgeous burger.
All right, whatever. We're going to go to Mongolian meatloaf now.
Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Mongolian meatloaf. That's right, I couldn't decide whether to make Mongolian beef or make a meatloaf, so I decided to try both things at once. And I could not have been more pleased with how this experiment turned out.
You're right, broccoli is one of them. Now name the other ones.
And no, for the record, none of this is even remotely Mongolian, and we'll get into that later. But for now, let's go ahead and get started by sauteing some onions in some vegetable oil, along with a big pinch of salt, in a pan set over medium-high heat, and we will cook those stirring for a few minutes.
Or better yet, why don't you tell me which ones aren't?
Or until the onions start to soften up and turn translucent, and maybe start to take on a little bit of golden brown color. And once we feel like that's happened, and our onions are looking a little something like this, we will stop and add some crushed or finely minced garlic, along with some finely grated ginger, and we'll go ahead and stir that in, and then cook this for just about a minute, just to take the...
But you literally said, not like less than 20 minutes ago, you work in a restaurant. You are currently Serve Safe certified. You should be able to answer these questions. Because one of them I threw up was a trick question.
Raw edge off those two aromatics. And believe it or not, that's it. Once that's cooked for about a minute, we will turn
Iron Gullet, just admit that you're fucking lying. How's that?
off the heat.
Just fuck off, admit you're lying, and piss off.
At which point we need to let this cool down to room temp before we add it to the next ingredient. And that would be a couple pounds of ground beef, which ideally is 80.
Okay, that Iron Gullet says he's self-employed. That means he is just living off of unemployment.
85% lean, 15% fat.
Oh no, I can be wrong. But here's the thing: anyone that is cell safe certified should know my huge trick question. I did it deliberately.
But if you have to, I think 90-10 will also work. But either way, we'll go ahead and add our onion mixture, followed by our starchy filler, which for most meatloafs is going to be breadcrumbs. But since this is inspired by Mongolian beef, I'm going to go with a cup of cooked rice, which I've always thought was
which you would have known instantly.
An excellent and very underrated substitute for breadcrumbs and meatloaf. And then after the rice, we'll also want to add 1 beaten egg. And then we will follow that with some freshly sliced green onions, which unlike the harsher, harder yellow onions we diced up, do not need to be cooked first before adding to this mix.
By the way, can anyone tell me the other 2 names of green onions? Come on, Iron Gullet, if you worked in a grocery store, you worked in a restaurant, you should know this. This is a pretty easy one across the plate. What are the other 2 common names for green onions?
Mixture. So we'll toss those in before we season this up with a little bit of soy sauce, plus some kosher salt. And because our sauce is going to be fairly salty, we are going to use a relatively light hand here. And that's it. We'll finish up with
My God, he actually learned something from me.
Freshly ground black pepper. And then we'll go ahead and mix this all together, which I like to use a fork for, which might take a few extra minutes. But I feel it's a nice way to combine this without having to worry too much about overmixing, which can make a meatloaf a little bit tough and rubbery. Although having said that, that's not going to be so much of a problem for this recipe, since again, it's inspired by Mongolian beef, which is done with strips of beef, which definitely has a little bit of texture and chew to it. So for this, a meatloaf that's actually a little bit firmer and not super tender and crumbly is probably a better choice. But anyway, the main point...
But you still can't name me the 3 veggies that I said are packed in ice. Nor can you really answer any of my other questions, and I said one of them is a trick question.
Here is mix this until everything is evenly combined, at which point we'll take this and transfer it into a lightly oiled loaf pan. And then to ensure a nice uniform shape once this is baked, we will want to make sure we're pressing that meat down firmly into the corners so that we don't leave any pockets.
Also, here's another one. how do restaurants clean their dishes? Because they don't do it like at home. They do it in a completely different way.
of air. And then once everything's been thoughtfully pressed in, we'll go ahead and smooth out the top. At which point this is...
I mean, if you worked in a grocery store, if you worked in a restaurant, you should know this. This is, again, I'm throwing easy ones out there.
ready to transfer into the center of a 350-degree oven for about an hour, or until we have an internal temp of about 145 to 150, at which point our meatloaf should look like this. And no, that is not the most beautiful thing that's ever come out of our oven.
Come on, give me the
don't
glaze.
Worry,
Give
the
me
final
the glaze.
presentation is going to be stunning. And if we wanted, we could just slice and serve this meatloaf hot, topped with the Mongolian beef sauce we're just about to make.
By the way, get yourself a meatloaf pan. They're $15 on Amazon.
But I prefer to serve this what I call diner style, which means we cook it ahead, chill it, and then slice and brown a piece when we're ready to serve. So once that had cooled down, I wrapped it up and popped it in the fridge. But whether you're going to serve yours hot right away, or do it what I call diner style, we still need to make our Mongolian beef sauce, which is going to start with a little bit of oil in a cold pan.
Aren't you going to
Into which
glaze
we
it?
will add some grated ginger, as well as some finely
the
minced or
hell?
crushed garlic. And then we'll turn our heat on to medium-high, and we will wait until we see and hear that stuff start to sizzle.
Mongolian barbecue
At which
sauce
point we'll give it a little
glaze?
bit of a stir fry for about 30 seconds. Although it's really more of a smash and smear fry.
Jesus Christ, Chef
But
John,
anyway, we
I
give
love
that a
you, but
quick
damn,
stir
you're losing me
before we add in
here.
the rest of the ingredients, which includes a little touch of brown sugar, plus the other main ingredient, some soy sauce. And even though I didn't, it's probably not a bad idea to use low-sodium soy sauce, since we can always adjust with salt later, and that's a safer bet. But either way, we'll
I just go with the regular soy sauce, and I just don't add any additional salt. That's just me.
finish this up with some chili flakes, as well as a little touch of ketchup, which is my secret ingredient. And then last but not least, a splash of cold fresh water. And what we'll do is give that a whisk and wait for it to start to simmer, at which point our sauce is basically done. Okay, we don't want to continue cooking and reducing this because it will get way too intense and salty. So once this does start to bubble, we can go ahead and turn our heat down to low, since as I just said, our sauce is basically done. Except at this point, the texture is a little too thin, which is why our final step will be to thicken this up with a cornstarch slurry, which is nothing more than a teaspoon of cornstarch that we dissolve in a couple teaspoons of water. Oh, and if you can, try to get all the cornstarch in the cup. But anyway, we'll start.
This is why I just glaze the damn thing with a Mongolian barbecue sauce.
Stir that together and then pour it into our sauce. And we can just use
So I
that
don't
same
have to do
spoon we
this
stirred it
shit.
with to mix that in. But then we should probably switch to a whisk, and we'll raise our temperature up to medium-high. And as soon as this mixture just starts to simmer again, you will notice the sauce start to thicken up and get shiny. And if everything goes according to plan, we should end up with something that looks like this. Okay, we don't want something super thick, right? We're not trying to make Mongolian beef pudding, which is what you will get if you add too much cornstarch. Okay, we just want something that beautifully coats our meat. And to me, this was looking just about perfect. And that's it. We'll simply keep that warm until
Although I will say, this was probably fucking delicious.
we're ready to serve.
I love Chef
And yes, you
John.
can make this ahead and warm it
he's
up.
he's like the fucking Yoda of YouTube. This motherfucker is old. The only one. Well, I don't think she's no longer with us.
Speaking of which,
The Great Depression cook, some like super old lady who was like in her 90s when YouTube started. But yeah, he's one of the OG YouTubers, and yeah, he's fucking older than all of us.
let's go ahead and take out our cold meatloaf, and we will remove that from the pan. Oh, and if it's sticking, that's because of the cold fat. Just warm up the bottom a little bit, and it will slide right out. And then what we'll do is cut this
Okay, you're losing me here, John, because I'm seeing lines of solid fat running through that. You're losing me here.
in half so we can see the inside. And no, the inside does not look much better than the outside. But that's okay, since what we're going to do after slicing off a portion is heat this up
God, Jesus, will you get a meatloaf pan?
by browning it in a
God, I'll buy you one!
pan. And for this test slice, I decided to dust the surface with cornstarch before browning, since as you may know, when we do Mongolian beef, the strips of steak are dusted in cornstarch first, before they're pan-fried to give them
What
nice
the
crusty
fuck?
edges. So I thought that would be appropriate to try here. But anyway, once dusted, I heated up some oil in a nonstick pan, set over medium-high heat, and I placed my slice of what will hopefully soon
Well, at
be
least it'll
Mongolian
get rid of
meatloaf
the
in.
solidified
And
fat.
as soon as the surface is
so
brown to our
I'm
liking,
for this.
and of course our meatloaf is heated through, we'll be ready to serve this up and top it with our sauce. And while we could definitely reheat this meatloaf without the cornstarch, it probably does help produce a nicer crust. Which reminds me, when you turn that over, please let the other side get just as browned and crusty. Which I didn't, because I was in a hurry and starving, and I really wanted to try this with the sauce to see if this experiment was even going to work. But anyway, I plated that up, drooling with anticipation as I did, and then I went ahead and spooned over that gorgeous Mongolian beef sauce, which, believe it or not, was adapted from a copycat P.F. Chang recipe that I came across about 10 years ago. So I spooned that over before finishing up with a few toasted sesame seeds, and then I grabbed a fork and went in for a taste. And that, my friends, was exactly how I hoped it was going to be. Okay, instead of a thin strip of pan-fried beef, this amazingly flavorful sauce was coating a nice tender beefy piece of meatloaf, and it only took me a couple bites to realize that for a change, I had actually accomplished what I'd set out to do, which was a meatloaf that actually tasted like Mongolian beef. Oh, and this would be a great time to mention.
Oh, all right. And now we're going to move on to... mustard and pepperoni pizza. Let's get the other elephant in the room put away.
Of some fresh pizza dough and panko. They swipe on a thick layer of spicy brown mustard, and they spread it all over the dough. They top that
Okay, I hate to say this, but that sounds fucking gross.
with mozzarella cubes,
And I'm somebody that loves mustard.
their cooked tomato sauce,
This still sounds gross.
a heavy sprinkle of Parmesan cheese,
This
and
still
thick cut
sounds
pepperoni.
gross. This
Then they
still
bake it in the
sounds
oven to look
gross.
like this. And slice it
looks
up.
delicious, but it still sounds gross.
This is the mustard pepperoni pie from Panko Pizza in Middletown, New Jersey. It's like a deconstructed hot dog, but better.
No! No, it's horrible!
Who's hungry? They coat the bottom of some
And here we go with Black Friday grilled cheese.
This is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Black Friday grilled cheese with kitchen sink cranberry sauce. That's right, I'm going to show you the best day after Thanksgiving sandwich ever, made with a very special cranberry sauce that is everything, because it has almost everything. Except, of course, well, you know. And that's where we'll start first, by adding a lot of ingredients to a saucepan, including some finely diced dried tart cherries, some dried apricot, as well as some candied ginger. We're also going to include some orange and lemon zest, as well as, believe it or not, some diced up Fresno chili. And then we'll spice this up very simply with 1 star anise, followed by a couple sweeteners, which would be a touch of maple syrup, as well as a nice big pinch of white sugar. And then what we'll do is pour in our orange juice, ideally freshly squeezed, but anything will work. Oh, and I almost forgot. We do want a tiny pinch.
Oh, God, are you serious? Well, I can't watch Chef John anymore. Because I got the yellow triangle of doom, even though I am providing commentary, but... whatever, I don't care. Fine, fuck it.
Artichoke
We're
pizza
almost
get
coming to
made
the
from
end
none other
anyway.
than Artichoke Pizza in New York City. A thick dough gets layered with their cream and spinach sauce, mozzarella cheese, California artichoke hearts, and pecorino romano cheese. They slide this beast into the oven until it looks like this. The result, a thick, crunchy, creamy, cheesy,
What is it with New York and needing to make pizzas the size of fucking Andre the Giant's dick?
and devour-worthy pie. Who wants a slice? Make sure to follow us for more food recommendations in New York City and beyond. Let's watch the artichoke pizza get made from none other than
And now we go back to sandwich whore.
Hungry? Want me to make you a sandwich?
Okay, so she roasted or broiled the peppers. I don't fucking care. Wonderful. You gonna just puree this or? Fine. Whatever. I don't care. Turkey. Shit. Shit. Shit.
Perfect. Here you go.
Yeah, that's wonderful. All right, let's go back to Chef John. Because now I just
Here's
want to
the
be a
salt in here as
prick.
well. And what we'll do is turn our heat up to medium high. And we'll give this a stir. And we'll wait for it to start to simmer. Oh, and it was right here when I realized I didn't put any cayenne in. So I went ahead and did a few shakes so people wouldn't get mad. But anyway, what we'll do once this is simmering is reduce our heat to medium low. And we'll let this simmer gently for about 10 or 15 minutes, stirring occasionally, just to give everything a little bit of a head start before we add our cranberries. So that's exactly.
I don't know why people do recipes with fresh cranberries, because they're usually only available 3 months out of the goddamn year.
What I did. And once that's simmered long enough, what we'll do is raise our heat to medium high and bring this up to
I
a boil.
assume he's going to add fresh
And
cranberries.
once that is bubbling enthusiastically, we will take a 12-ounce bag of fresh cranberries. And
Yep.
we will add those in, after rinsing them, of course. And what we'll do is stir those in. And we'll continue
I don't know
cooking,
why.
stirring occasionally until those berries start to collapse and break down. And while these are cooking, you want to be a little bit careful, because when they get hot, cranberries will explode. Right, not really a violent explosion, but there is going to be a lot of snap, crackle, and popping, which if you've never done it before, is going to sound a little something like this. So do not, under any circumstances, keep your face directly over the top, which I don't know why you would, but if you were going to, don't. And like I said, we'll cook that stirring for like 5 or 6 minutes, or until roughly 90 to 95% of the berries have collapsed. And our mixture's thickened up a bit, and it's looking something like this. And while a few berries are still whole, they're going to be very soft, and they'll break down eventually. And once those are looking very nice, we can go ahead and turn off the heat, and we'll toss in some chopped toasted walnuts, and we will stir those in. And yes, of course those are optional. But if you're making something called kitchen sink cranberry sauce, I think we want to add as many ingredients as we can. And I really...
Hey, Iron Gullet, I'm gonna be probably calling it quits on this stream here, and there I get the yellow triangle of doom again. In a couple of minutes, I was just curious. Do you have any other veggies that are served in ice? Because you only really named broccoli. You know, you have any that are packed and stored in ice? Again, you name broccoli. I mean, considering you worked in restaurants and you're self-safe certified and all this other shit, but you still haven't answered any of my questions.
Welcome back to Chud's Barbecue.
And by the way, none of these are particularly hard questions.
My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made this. Beautiful, delicious, crispy skin, juicy, cheesy, stuffed, amazing.
Well, of the ones specifically, which ones are shipped in ice? And I know for a fact one of them is not. Cauliflower is not. Cauliflower isn't a delicate vegetable. That gets shipped in the plastic containers you see at any Walmart.
Turkey cordon bleu. That's right, folks. We're taking a couple of turkey breasts, deboning them, and stuffing them with ham
So once again, I know you're full of shit. I know you're lying.
and cheese, and making ourselves a lovely gravy for an absolutely fantastic.
Even before the plastic things, they were never shipped in ice. You're lying. No, they're not. I'm speaking as somebody who worked in a grocery store for 14 years. They're not. They never were. Even before the plastic thing, when they were shipped in cardboard containers, they weren't in ice.
Meal coming up.
In fact, if cauliflower was shipped in ice, by the time it got to the goddamn fucking grocery store, it'd be unsellable.
Turkey breast. Patted dry. And what I got here is 2 turkey breasts. This is in fact bone-in, so we got some rib meat in there. And I don't think I've ever bought one of these before, but I see them every year. And typically when I'm cooking a turkey breast,
I mean, that'd be like shipping lettuce packed in ice.
I'll buy one of those big barbecue-sized boneless skin-on turkey breasts that you see in all the barbecue restaurants. And
or shipping curly parsley in ice.
I've cooked on this channel plenty of times, but I hear in the comment section that those are pretty hard to find depending.
I haven't, but I still remember. Oh, cauliflower is refrigerated. It's just not shipped in ice. You don't need to ship something in ice to make it refrigerated, motherfucker.
Depending on where you live, where these I see all the time year-round in the freezer, and especially this time of year.
Tell you what, can you name me the 3 most common bought produce items? You know what? Just the 3 most common produce groups that are not refrigerated.
Around the holidays, these are prevalent, and they're still a pretty good size. But if you could find a boneless one, I would definitely go for that. But this is all they had at my grocery store. And honestly, it's...
No, there are some things you ship packed in ice. There are other things you don't need to ship packed in ice. But they still need to be cold. You're lying. The fact that you don't know these things, I don't know why I'm arguing with you. The fact that you didn't see the trick question that I gave it chuckles me. You've never worked in a restaurant. You've never worked with food. You're just lying.
It's a good amount of meat. You got...
No, fish are not actually packed in ice. Fish are typically packed in dry ice. Much colder. I know this because when I worked in the meat department, we used to have a lot of fun melting the dry ice in tubs of hot water. We'd fill one of the sinks up, one of the S5 sinks, whatever the fuck it was called. And yeah, we'd fill one of them up with hot water and have a lot of fun with dry ice.
Got the skin on there. It makes for a really great, oh crap, it's Tuesday and Thanksgiving is on Thursday and I didn't buy a whole bird and it's going to take too long to defrost and brine and all that stuff. So this is a great little last.
Dry ice is not ice. Ice is frozen water. Dry ice is frozen carbon dioxide. There's a difference, sweetheart.
Minute thing, because I bought this yesterday, put it in a bowl in my sink in some cold water and let it defrost for a couple hours, and then it's been in the fridge, and hopefully it's defrosted all the way through, but a lot quicker than a whole bird. And hopefully today we're going to make something that is worthy of your Thanksgiving or Christmas.
No, trust me, I fucked up the last turkey I cooked. It was still frozen on the bottom.
This table that's a little bit different and a little less intimidating than cooking a whole turkey. But first things first, we got to go ahead and remove all.
But I now have to go out and cook because the people need me to feed them, and we're coming up pretty much on an hour. So I might be back for a second stream on LOP. I might not. Good night, everybody.